Welcome back to Quick Take Charge. I'm Tim Stenovic in New York. Disney's Investor Day has still got people talking. The entertainment giant announced plans to release a year's worth of movies on its streaming service the same day that they debut in theaters. And this coming just after Warner Brothers announced that it was going to release all of next year's films on HBO Max and in theaters at the same time. So here to break down what this means for the future of entertainment and the entertainment industry is the author of Bloomberg's Screen Time newsletter, Lucas Shaw, live in Washington today. Hey, Lucas, what's the conversation happening in Hollywood right now? How is the industry reacting to these huge announcements?
You know, the response to Disney has been, interestingly, pretty different, I would say, from the response to the Warner Media one. You know, most people are just for lack of a better word, in awe of Disney. You know, this is the most powerful entertainment company in the world that has decided to take a lot of its crown jewels, the Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, Disney animation properties, and make both movies and TV shows that it will release on streaming. Considering the very negative reaction to Warner Brothers' decision to release movies on streaming, you'd think that they would react in the same way to Disney. But, you know, Disney always gets treated a little bit differently. I think in this case, they lined up all of their partners in advance, which makes a big deal to those in Hollywood. They don't feel blindsided in any way. And Disney is still committed to releasing a handful of film titles only in theaters. I think the big question is, you know, what are people going to go see in theaters when they have so much to watch at home on Disney Plus?
Yeah, that's the big question. I mean, I know I'm asking myself that question when I'm going to actually go back to a movie theater. I want to point out something that you wrote in your latest article. You point to one criticism from the director, Denis Villeneuve, in an essay for Variety. He wrote, quote, "Streaming can produce great content, but not movies of Dune's scope and scale." So based on your reporting, Lucas, do you think there's any truth to that? And is what he's saying similar to what others in Hollywood and around the world are saying?
Historically, he's 100% right. I mean, look, Denis is one of the great filmmakers working today, and he's upset because his movie Dune, which has been delayed several times and was going to be released in theaters next year, will now be on HBO Max at the same time. But you know, the line between a TV movie or a streaming movie and a movie in theaters is pretty quickly disappearing. This is not the day when, you know, a TV movie was some cheaply shot $1 million project. If you look at TV shows like The Mandalorian, that costs, and Disney has said this, that pretty much costs as much per minute as a big blockbuster movie. The difference is the episodes are shorter. So the experience of going to a theater is, of course, different from sitting watching at home. I feel that personally. I've watched a lot of movies in the past couple months. It's not the same as going to see it in theaters. But oftentimes the quality of what you're seeing on the screen and the scope, at least at the very high end of what you're seeing on streaming, is pretty comparable to what you'll see in the movie theater. And don't forget that for those people who still want to see Dune in the theater, especially outside of the U.S., they will still be able to.
That's the author of Bloomberg's Screen Time newsletter, Lucas Shaw, live in Washington today. Lucas, thanks as always for your time. You can subscribe to Lucas's newsletter at Bloomberg.com and follow Lucas on social media for entertainment updates. Well, Zoox, the self-driving startup owned by Amazon, has unveiled a fully functioning production robotaxi. The company plans to deploy fleets of the self-driving carriage in their own autonomous ride-hail service. Zoox's CEO spoke to Bloomberg's Ed Ludlow about the business model in an exclusive interview.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quick Take now for insight in an instant.